right, welcome back, everybody. We are here for our second Moms Over Matter podcast. My name is Ken Grosso. I'm the fitness coordinator here at Weber State, if this is your first time joining us. And I am here with our club president, Camille Dennis.
Hi.
And then our club vice president, Shalane Barrett.
Hey.
Wow, it's been a couple weeks since we've done this.
Yeah, that's true.
Are we excited or what? Second podcast.
Of course. Yeah,
we're excited.
This is fun.
Well, we have some good information for you today. It's Friday, which means it's the end of the week, and we just wrapped up week 5, I believe, in the school year. So how are we feeling after week 5?
I'm already tired. I'll be honest. I'm already tired.
I feel like I'm finally getting into the role of it. I'm finally settling down to the fact that I'm back in school and I've got a schedule that works for me, and I kind of feel like I'm making progress.
And usually around week 4, week 5, we have a big wave of exams.
Yeah.
So I kind of...
wave was in the third week.
Third week for
Yeah,
you?
I had
Mine's right
3.
now.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that, because folks who are listening, who are in school, who have children, are definitely going to be interested in hearing about how are you managing right now at week 4, week 5, or if you had it in week 3 when you get a big wave of exams. How does that impact your sleep, your daily routine, and how do you manage that in an effective way? And let's just talk directly from experience. So we'll let Camille start. Week 3 was your test week. How did you do as far as managing everything? Because I know we'll also highlight that you were sick a little bit.
I was.
So
I
we'll
was
talk
sick
about-
that week, and my husband was out of town that week.
How does that happen all in the same
It
week?
just seems to happen that way. He goes away and I get sick, and it's like, quit going away on me because I don't like it. So, but in a way, it was kind of nice that I had the house to myself, and I came to school and went to my classes, and then I just made a beeline home and just studied at home. And the thing that was a killer was in one of my classes, one of my really hard classes, exercise phys. On Monday, she said, yeah, there's 17 pages of notes that I have written out for you, but you can't use them in the test. And I went, fine, I'm not going to even bother filling them out then. What's the point? And then on Wednesday, she goes, oh, guess what? You can use them. You can take them in as notes on the test. And I went, crap. So I spent all day Thursday working on those notes, and I finished them up on Friday, and the test was on Friday, and it was a 2-hour open book exam. And I took almost the whole 2 hours to do it, and I got a 97%. So I was pretty excited about that.
Very
Nice
nice.
job.
That's super
But
exciting.
then I also had a psychology test, which was an essay test. And I'd been writing my essays for several weeks, but I didn't put the time into studying them that I should have because I was more concerned about my exercise phys class. And so I didn't do as well on that test, but it turned out that I got a 91% on
Good.
that test too. So really, I just had to just stay focused and I studied one and then I studied the other, and I really didn't do anything else. I didn't clean the house. I fed the bird because I had to. I slept because I had to. But, I just had to kind of really just stay focused on it. I did have to take a bath sometimes at night so that I could go to sleep, so that I could relax enough to shut my brain off and go to sleep. And that worked for me. I would probably take a bath 3 nights that week
Wow.
in order to go to sleep. So a bath really works for me to calm me down.
Bath to
So,
help relax. 3
Yeah.
tests in a week.
Yeah.
At what point did you get sick? Was it before
I
you...
was sick before. I got sick Sunday. I knew Sunday I was starting to get sick. I was kind of hoping with just a sore throat that it would just kind of come and go and be done. And Monday I woke up and I went, no, it's getting worse. And then Tuesday it was like, yep, there's just no doubt about it. This is a full-blown cold. So Friday was a pretty yucky day, my test-taking day, and it was the height of my cold, and my head was so cloudy and my ears were ringing, and it was really hard. But
You did it.
I did it. I just kind of decided to just relax and not worry about what my grade was going to be. Just relax and not be stressed about it. My grade was going to be what my grade was going to be, and there wasn't anything I could do about it. I'd studied the best I could, so I just had to accept that I knew what I knew. and it was going to be fine.
There you go. And
So when you take your bath, do you put anything in them that helps? Or
I put in Epsom salt.
Mm.
My daughter-in-law bought me some Epsom salts with spearmint in it,
Oh.
which seems really interesting to me that the spearmint is supposed to settle you down.
Uh-huh.
I heard lavender's actually better.
Mm-hmm.
But I went through quite a bit of that week.
Yeah.
So I asked my friend who is into the essential oils if she has bath salts, and she said you just take Epsom salt and add lavender to it, and you can make your own bath salts. So when I'm out of my bath salts from my daughter-in-law, I'm going to be getting some lavender from her and making my own bath salts.
Oh, that's really
So,
cool.
I'm glad
did know
that
that.
Shalane asked that, because we did a post not too long ago, or actually I posted on my personal page. We'll post it on the Funyuns page and then the Moms Over Matter as well, about Epsom salt baths and how beneficial they are for relaxation, and then tapping into lavender as a scent that really helps stimulate some relaxation for folks. For people who are listening, how much salt did you put in the bath with you?
I just kind of, it's a big 5-pound or 2-pound bag, I guess. It's a big bag, and I just kind of dump it till I'm done dumping it.
Yeah, I think I take those baths regularly after I run. And I think it says on the back it's like 1/4 a cup or something like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
1/4 to 1/2 cup about.
Yeah, that's probably about what I throw in there.
Or if they smell good, throw a little extra.
A
Yeah,
little extra in if it smells nice.
Yeah.
But you just don't want to sit in them too long if you have a lot of salt. in
Yeah, well, and I make them really hot.
there. Yeah, I
So
make
I'm
mine
like
too.
lobster red by the time I get out, and I'm only in them probably maybe 5 minutes max.
Really?
Yeah,
So
because
fill
it
up
just
with super hot water, 1/4 to 1/2 a cup, maybe starting with less.
Yeah.
yeah,
If it's
See how
your
your body
first time,
reacts,
and
especially
then-
if they have scents.
yeah.
Just kind of continually add maybe while you're in there.
Yeah, I do it when the water is running so that it can kind of mix through the whole bath, and then I'll rub my feet on it to kind of dissolve it around in the bath too while I'm sitting in the bath.
Yeah, I do that too. I've also put it with the cold water, taking like ice baths, but I don't think that's quite as effective because the salts can't kind of melt and mix in with the water as much. But
Huh. But cold water therapy treatments are real too,
yeah,
which we could talk about for a second since we just talked about the hot water.
Yeah,
So-
tell me about these cold water baths.
oh, they're
Whew, they're wonderful.
Well, when I do long runs or when my muscles or my back just kind of feeling achy, I do ice baths, and they are cold, and it takes about 5 minutes till your body kind of numbs a little bit till you get comfortable. But what I found works good with me is I don't fill up the whole tub with ice, just ice and water, and I bring a towel and place it behind my back so I can lean back in the bathtub and put some music on so I have something else to kind of think about and so that I can relax. But after your muscles just feel so good, especially as your muscles start to warm up after you get out of the ice bath. Amazing.
So you're using it for recovery after long endurance runs, and what's
Yeah.
it doing for your muscles while you're in there?
Well, it's in there. Well, it's helping to decrease the swelling because as you're running in your joints and you're making your muscles do a lot of work, so it's helping decrease that swelling. And my feet swell a lot all the time, especially after I run to the point where I can't get shoes on, and so I rely on them a lot, especially when I was pregnant. Holy cow, I was swollen, especially my feet. And so I didn't do the full ice bath when I was pregnant. I didn't want to make my little girl get chilly in there, but so I just even do little ice baths for my feet, and that made a huge difference.
Huh.
So I couldn't even get flip-flops on. My feet were so fat.
Really?
Wow.
Yep, I was pregnant during the summer, so I wore my UGG boots because that's the only thing I can get my feet in the last 2 months. But the ice baths just for my feet too are helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. Cool.
Right on. That's a really great tip for people.
Yeah.
I think I use it a little differently.
Mm-hmm.
I don't use it so much for when I'm recovering from workouts. I use it more as a mental silencer for when I'm being a complainer. So if I find myself being really negative or complaining a lot in my mind, it's usually around time that Ken needs an ice bath.
Yeah.
Because what I find is that I don't necessarily always add ice, but I'll just let the tub run on the coldest water it can. I'll let it fill all the way up, and then for me it's become a sick little enjoyable game where I get in, and the first way I go is I'll stand in it, and I just have the first initial wave of all the stuff screaming in your head of this is cold, this is awful, all of the complaints, and I usually smile and just breathe. because I can feel that first rush, and that's what
Yeah.
I was feeling internally
Yeah.
is I'm being a baby right now. I don't have a lot of courage in my life, and so in a sick way, I always think it'd be funny if a third party just watched me doing this in the bathtub and just how much enjoyment I get out of the whole process. Even
Yeah.
my dogs will come in and have some general concern for me as I'm making noise and just in the
Yeah,
tub, and
yeah.
they're trying to make sure I'm all right.
Well, with the ice bath too, you also have to be a little bit mentally tough because it is cold and it almost stings for a little bit. So you have to have that mental toughness and motivation, I guess is maybe the right word, just to stay for the couple minutes. And so it's, even if you're not doing it for the like relaxation benefits, for the mental benefits, I think it's good.
And tagging on to that, so that's why I kind of do it in phases, is I'll start with just my feet, and that's kind of where I get the real inkling of how bad I'm complaining. Because it's cold, but if you can get the right attitude and you have some placebo effect about there are a lot of benefits to doing this, and I'm doing this for a purpose, and it's going to help me, then when I get in there, then I kind of just relish that fact of the reason I'm resisting this is because it's exactly what I need. What I need is to silence my mind and calm down and just breathe. And so maybe your experience is the same, where you actually do get in and you have to breathe.
You do.
You can't hold your breath for that long. You'll turn blue. So there's an initial wave, which is similar to a lot of resistance we experience in our life in a lot of different forms of just not wanting to breathe or let go or holding our breath. We were doing a foam rolling workshop with some folks upstairs, and as we were lowering onto our abs and our stomachs, there was that same, but I don't want to feel all my weight on a foam roller, so I'm going to hang on to some of it and hold my breath for a second. So I stand in with my ankles, but then I tell myself, it's just in your mind. This is the coldest water I've experienced today. And that helps a little bit. And then for me, the next step is a hover. So I hover over the bathtub. I place my hands on the sides and my feet up, and I just take a big inhale, and as I exhale, I just drop my whole lower body in, and that's where I go with the breathing and the relaxation. And I might not stay in there for a couple minutes, but I stay in there long enough to feel all of my skin wake up and everything liven up, and then go, okay, this is cold. And then I stand back up, and I move to the front of the tub, and I sit down cross-legged, and I just go, here we go again, and I sit back. And I lay back and I let all of it come over. And that's probably my favorite one, if I'm honest, because that's the one that takes your breath away. Because you're submerged underneath water, your chest is underneath. And if I go underneath, so my ears are underneath water, it's completely silent. So now you're talking about an opportunity where it is 100% silent except for the voice in your head. So you do have to kind of coax yourself into, it's just cold water, I'm not going to die from this, but I can hear my voice inside my head, and that needs to go away. So I'll usually keep my ears underwater until I just take a big breath and exhale and just embrace this new silence, which you get in float tanks when you do isolation therapy and you're not having any external stimulus coming in. And then the last thing that I do is I'll sit up, get on my knees, and then I put my face in and blow out all my air a couple times. And so some people have said it's like my own baptism in the bathtub because I kind of go through a lot of the same movements. And for me, it's 100% a mental thing. And I know that there are benefits. I've seen documentaries where there is a family that goes out every morning, even in the dead of winter, and they're just wearing their scamps, and they all have buckets of ice cold water. So I found the ALS challenge to be a little ironic, because while it was for a good cause, people could be doing that every day in their underwear for health benefits and for their wellness. And so I think it's really interesting that we had an opportunity to highlight that, all from our Epsom salt bath story. But obviously lots of different ways that you could use your bath to relax or to maybe rejuvenate. That's how I feel. The cold water, you get out, and like Shalane said, when the blood rushes back, you feel like you have some courage, and if you just sat in the tub for 5 minutes, you've shown yourself that you can quiet your voice and the power of your breath, and then perhaps you have a better platform to approach the rest of your day.
Right.
So very cool. Epsom baths.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So that was you at week 3. You made it through.
I did. I made it through.
You did.
And we
I
got
did.
Shalane,
Oh boy.
who's
Week
in
5.
who's
I
in
know,
the
week-
you're in the where we have you basically in the fire right now. So for folks who are
Yeah.
listening, Shalane's probably having probably her busiest week of the semester
Close. Pretty
for lots of reasons.
Right.
School stuff, personal stuff. So let's talk a little bit about where you're at, how you're balancing everything, so folks can hear.
sure.
Hey, it's week 5, I'm getting barraged with tests, and I teach classes, and I'm a personal trainer, so everyone sitting at home might think, oh, Shalane's perfect, but we're just going to shed some light on the reality of how are you trying to balance all of this and keep your mind around it, knowing that as somebody who's immersed in fitness and wellness knowledge, it probably has to be even harder sometimes, because when you're not doing what you could be doing or should be doing, how much does that weigh in on but I'm just gonna let all that go, and this is what my reality is today, and this is the acceptance. So maybe tell people a little bit about your week, what you have going on, how you've been feeling, and just maybe we'll get into some coping mechanisms and just some stress reduction techniques.
Yeah. Well, like Camille had her busiest week of school so far, week 3 so far. This week 5 is my busiest. I've had three tests, just about 4 papers, quizzes, just everything all at once, having to go do observation hours, and just school-wise it's been a very, very busy week. Plus, my daughter is teething. Her 5th tooth officially broke through 2 days ago.
Look at the irony. 5th tooth, 5th week.
Oh, man.
It's all synced up.
Yeah, and I've been training for a marathon for the past almost 4 months, 3.5 months, and that is tomorrow on Saturday. So while my mind keeps telling me I need to get sleep to do better in my tests, and because I've been working so hard to train for this marathon, I'll be honest, I haven't balanced everything very well. I've been able to get my work done, my schoolwork, and I've gone to work and worked my jobs and played with my daughter and took care of her, especially while she's been sad and teething. But I have not slept, to be honest, at all this week. So if you see my long blinks, it's because I'm a little sleepy. And like Ken said, it is kind of hard, because with all of my training and all I learned, I know the importance of sleep and even eating right. With being so busy with school and work and with cranky daughter, and my eating habits haven't been as good this week, even though I know they need to be because of my race tomorrow, and that is adding a little bit of extra stress. So personally, I haven't handled it as well as I know I need to, but I'm grateful that I at least have the knowledge, and that I know I'm not handling it as well, or maybe not handling is the right word, getting enough sleep. That's the reality. Getting enough sleep as I need to. So because there will be weeks like this later on in the semester. Maybe I don't have a marathon, but maybe I have, I don't know, something else big that week.
Midterms are coming.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this is a good kind of learning experience, and I could look back, maybe not till next week till I've recovered a little bit, but I can figure out, okay, this is how that week went, this is all that was going on, what do I need to do for when it happens again, so I am better prepared, so I can get more sleep. And so yeah, that is my week this week.
Well, and I think it's going to be super interesting for people to hear that, but also to hear that this is real live time, that this is Friday, your race is tomorrow, and this is 100% how you feel. Haven't had enough sleep. If you're super honest, really honest, which is a lot of times the hardest thing to do, especially when you're putting it out in front of, maybe 10, 12 viewers, family members, friends, etc. Is just, I could have done better, but I didn't.
Right.
And you're in the heat of the storm right now, but you're drawing a great point, which is embrace the learning curve, embrace how you feel now, and if instead of worrying or creating any additional stress about I'm not getting any sleep, the race is tomorrow, any other anxiety that could manifest between today and tomorrow, what if we just took a deep breath and went, acceptance, this is how it's going to be, is you haven't gotten enough sleep all week, but you have how many hours? Race is what time tomorrow?
It is at 7 a.m.
So you're looking at, it's just after 1...
About 17 hours.
17 hours. So really, it's just between now and the race, 17 hours. So what we know is mind over matter, the power of relaxation, that you could do some really good stuff for yourself between now and then. The hardest thing is going to be what? Staying out of your head, not worrying, not having the race anxiety about your time, about how you finish. I think we can kind of relay back to what Camille was saying when she's sitting there taking tests, and she's foggy and she's cloudy and she's had so much going on. Yet you're already there. You're going to be at the starting line. You're going to be at the race. And there's really two options at that point, which is you're either going to enjoy the heck out of your race because you showed us the photos. So just let people know what marathon you're running in tomorrow.
Huntsville Marathon up in Huntsville, Utah.
So Huntsville, Utah, colors are in full swing.
Gorgeous.
It's going to be amazing.
Gorgeous.
So there's really, if we're totally honest, there's just two ways it could go tomorrow. You could either embrace it and just enjoy the colors, not worry about your time, really focus on feeling good,
Right.
which is a big part of our model. Or you could go in thinking about time, thinking about everything that's happened this week, the fact that we even highlighted that you didn't take as good a care as you know what I mean, that we could have taken. You could really build a big case for a horrible race.
Yep.
And I think that's super important for people to hear because it's not always that black and white. There's a lot of areas of gray, but for the most part, it's all your perception and your attitude tomorrow. So if you do relax and ease up on yourself and go, busiest week I've had and I'm running a race today.
Yep.
Let's do what we can and just ask your body for whatever energy it has left. I think the response will be exponentially better than if there's a mental mantra that's overriding how the body's feeling, because that's not what we're advocating in our program. Is we really want that mindful connection to what are you going to do if you get cramps? What are you going to do if you don't feel as good as you want to do and you have to start walking? And just preparing yourself mentally for that, because my life experience has been the biggest frustrations are when things, people, events, places, things don't meet your expectations. But your expectations you self-created. So if you can adjust those in the moment, you're going to save yourself a ton of frustration versus just battling with the fact that it's just a silly, my expectation was here and this is the reality of where I'm at and I don't want to believe it.
Right.
So super helpful for people to listen to where we lose our balance, because like we know we're in the fitness realm, we live it and breathe it, and yet sleep and food, which we know are our two staples.
Yeah.
If you want to feel like a champion, you got to fuel like a champion, and then the rest and the recovery. So I think it'll be interesting to find out how the race goes and to see what she's able to do with her mind between now and then. And I'm sure people will be interested in hearing about it, because
Definitely.
what if you set a PR or do something crazy and people go, how did you do that? And you go, well, we talked Friday, light went on, just got to relax, this is all I can do, enjoy these colors, and you might have the best round of your life.
True. And best recovery. I've been trying to be really optimistic, and I've ran 3 marathons before and have all different recovery, and since this week was so busy, next week won't be so busy, so I can take more time to myself and do more things that I need to do so that I recover better. The first marathon I ran, I was also in school and had the opposite. I had a very easy week, the week of the marathon. Next week I had so much school and tests, and so when I really needed sleep, when my muscles were hurting and I was so sore and I needed to just have time to go on little walks or to sleep or eat healthy, ice baths, whatever, I was just so focused on school and my tests. So I've had the opposite, so I kind of know how it goes. So I'm just grateful that I can relax next week.
Yeah, that's good.
And for people listening, you're a trainer here. People want to know, what does Shalene's relaxation look like the week after a marathon? The week after doing any event where you challenge yourself personally, and something as big as a marathon, 26.2 miles.
Yeah.
What are the things that jump out in your mind right away of, I need to get this done next week, so I'm carving out this time, and these are some of the activities I'm taking?
So first word that popped right into my mind was active recovery. It is so important, especially after you've run a marathon. You made your muscles work so hard, and you want to relax them, but if you just spend the next 24 hours just not moving, your muscles tighten. And I also learned this the hard way from the first marathon that I did. One of my best friends was moving away out of country, so we just went and watched movies, and just all that sitting, my muscles were so tight I could not move the next day. I physically could barely move. And so active recovery. So what I think is super important is eating a very healthy meal within about 2 hours after you've completed a hard workout or a hard event like a marathon. Important to refuel your body. It worked hard. It deserves some food. So making sure that I have a meal planned and ready to go after. And then also just planning in some time to, no, I'm not going to run probably very much next week, but just walking so that my muscles are still moving. And also massage. I am a firm believer of deep tissue massages, or even time to just foam roll for an hour. That makes a huge difference in recovery.
It does. It's true. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, I believe in it fully.
So
Yeah.
so a post-workout meal
Uh-huh.
for an event like a marathon or just
Mhm.
any endurance event, what are people looking for? What types of foods are you reaching for? What types of things can we tell the audience that they might want to grab for? Because there's a lot of confusion for people about, oh, I just went and expended all this energy and burned a lot of calories.
Yeah.
What is the first thing I want to grab after I'm done working out? So what do you grab? And then we'll talk a little bit about some good options for
Yeah.
people.
Well, what you just said about I just expended all these calories, what do I want to grab? This last weekend was the Olympia bodybuilding championships, and I have a friend who competed in it, and she ate clean for months and months and months. And the second after her competition, she posted pictures with carrot cake and donuts. And you know,
Wow.
that just doesn't make you feel good. It might for the second, and right after that, your body, you just want to throw it all up. You're not used to that. And I think after you've had a good workout, that's how you feel too. You might think, oh, I just burned off all these calories, I gotta go eat a burger now. But physically, that's not. Mentally, that might feel good for a minute, but physically, you're just gonna just not feel well. So even though I love donuts, I will admit it fully, I love donuts. And after I ran a marathon or a longer race, I want a donut so bad. But I know that I won't enjoy that donut as very much after a little bit. So after races, I try to, I like to drink just a protein shake within a cup as soon as I can, pretty much after my race, so that I can refuel some of my muscles. At the post races, most of the time, the races will provide like oranges and strawberries and bananas, and I stock up on those.
Mm-hmm.
They also provide usually Rice Krispie treats and other stuff, and I try to stay a little bit away from those, even though they sound good at the moment. But I usually take in lots of fruit and protein shake, and then try to have a pretty healthy meal within 2 hours after I ran. So, and healthy meaning just good clean food, and something that I like to eat and that I've eaten before. No, I don't want to go try new foods and stuff after I've worked really hard for an event, just so my body is happy.
Well, and summer was just wrapping up, which we can talk a little bit more about fruit, because if you're eating, one way to eat really healthy, or to try to eat really, really healthy, is to try to eat in season with the fruit that's coming out, so that you get that variety in your micronutrients, and your vitamins, and your minerals. So as you're going through summer, can we think of just list off some fruits for people that might sound really satisfying after an endurance activity?
Yeah.
So some things for me would be watermelon,
Yeah.
cantaloupe, honeydew.
Yep. And the cool with watermelon, real quick, I just read in an article that I can't remember the exact main nutrient in watermelon, but it helps with post recovery soreness. And they just did a study with Division I athletes, and they all drank watermelon juice and ate watermelon after they would do their heavy lifting, and it was almost like 70% of them were as sore. It was pretty cool. So, just a little note.
And for folks who are listening, we're aware that there's a lot of hype about protein and supplementing with protein and doing protein shakes, but the reality is, if you're eating really well,
Right.
you're probably getting enough protein. So we just want people to be aware that if you're taking in too much protein, you're just placing extra strain on your kidneys and your liver, because all they're doing is just flushing that through, and you might not be making the best use of your money. So really get online and look for the great alternatives to just post-workout shakes and drinks. Look for those natural options where you'll get exactly what the body's craving, which is a quick uptake of sugar,
Right.
fructose.
Yep.
And so fruit's a really great option for that, especially if you're getting water. The nice thing about fruit is that you're getting some hydration with your food as well. So you kind of win twice right there.
Right.
Well, we're just under 10 minutes before we're going to be wrapping up the podcast, so I know there's some things that we want to hype up and promote for our club, because we are super excited to have our second recruiting and info meeting. So why don't I let you gals talk a little bit about what we've decided to do, and I'll get our Facebook page up so people can take a look at what we have, and then we also have our flyer that we produced. But we have an event coming up on October 1st if people are interested, and I'll turn it over, and these gals will tell you a little bit about what we planned and why we planned it and what we're hoping for.
So I've never been to Color Me Mine. So, Shalane, tell us about it.
Well, so Color Me Mine is a super cute little ceramic shop on 25th Street here in Ogden, Utah. And they have all different type of ceramics that you can choose from if you want a big old mug, or if you want plates, or even with Halloween coming up, they have like little skulls and stuff that you can pick out, and they're just plain, and you get to paint them and put on whatever you want. If your boyfriend or husband or something and birthday's coming up, you can make him a mug, anything. There's so many options, and after you finish painting it, they'll bake it right then for you, and then you get to take it home, and you have this nice thing that you created. So it's a pretty cool little shop.
Cool. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about this. And families are welcome to come, husbands, children, and we're paying for everything.
Yeah.
So just come and hang out and meet us and
Yeah.
enjoy a good evening.
Yeah, have some fun, make some crafts. We picked this activity in part because it creates a memory. I know every time I've gone to a shop like this, it's usually been either on a date or with a friend, and you get to sit and slow down and focus your energy on something. And as we've talked in previous podcasts, and we'll talk in future podcasts about shifting your focus and what that does to allowing you to not pay attention to the constant thought stream. So taking all of your focus and energy and putting it on one thing can be relaxing and therapeutic, just because you're not tuning into all the thoughts you have all day.
Right.
But then in addition, we just wanted an opportunity to get out and meet people, let them talk to us, find out more about the club. We're still not an official club yet, and so we're working to recruit those members where we can actually have a formal meeting and vote on our constitution and basically be an official recreation club within Campus Rec's department. So if folks are available, come out and join us for sure on Wednesday, October 1st at 6 o'clock down at Color Me Mine on 25th Street. We'd love to see you and meet you. So I have their Facebook page up here. You can get more information from them here, or we'll back up and just highlight our Moms Over Matter page. We forgot to highlight this in our first podcast.
Yeah.
We were busy talking about lots of other stuff. But we'll talk a little bit about it and just tell people what they can expect if they like our page, because I know as I go out and do speaking engagements and as we're promoting these events, we're really encouraging people, if you see the podcast and you enjoyed it and you don't know how to connect with us, like our page, and then we'll see that you've liked it. And what we're doing is we're trying to distribute content on the page Monday through Friday, and that content is all applicable to anything health and wellness related. So we'll let people know that on Mondays we're doing...
They kind of vary a little bit between meme and motivational Mondays.
But both great focuses.
Right.
So we're either finding memes that we like, or creating our own memes, or finding motivational quotes or pictures or stories, just so you can get that information and be maybe inspired on a Monday to start off your week. And then we have Trainer Tip Tuesdays that we're adhering to. So what kind of tips have we been posting on Tuesdays for folks?
Well, this last Tuesday we put up about yoga because we have the Yoga Fest coming up, so we wanted to make sure we were highlighting that.
Awesome.
But we just talk about different exercises that you can do and how to do them.
How to do them correctly with good form so you get the maximum benefit. Wonderful. Wellness Wednesdays.
Right.
What are we doing? What's a Wellness Wednesday post look like?
Well, recently, since with all the trees changing colors outside, I've been kind of focusing on that and just to go out and enjoy the fall. And a couple posts have been things that you can do even with families, or things that you can do with the fall and the things outside, and such as hiking, and just kind of little reminders of that.
Promoting the change. Seasons are changing. Great opportunity to change yourself, or some things about you to improve. So we like to tie into nature that way. Tasty Thursdays. If we highlight, we can just scroll down and show people what we did this week on Tasty Thursday. So I'll pull this up for folks. Again, you're just going to pay attention to the screen here. So chicken tortilla soup.
I love soup. When fall starts to show its colors, soup is just something I crave. So, and if it's something I can throw in the crock pot and have it cooking all day, I love the smells, and it just entices me to, it just brings a great attitude to my day, because I can just smell those yummy flavors just cooking away. So
Walk in the house.
yeah,
Food's
and I just
waiting
go,
for you.
oh, food's
So we-
waiting for me. I don't have to work too hard for it. I love soup. It's an easy thing to do. So the recipes I pick for Thursdays, I really try to make them simple recipes that you can do quickly, that don't require any funky or weird Ingredients. I'm really not a big fan of ingredients that I've never heard of before.
Right on,
So-
right on. And that makes it easy for folks. And you really hit the nail on the head with the crock pot. You have a crock pot at home, you're putting this stuff in, you take off for the day, you come home and your dinner is ready for you, and then your house smells
So yummy.
incredible. So we really appreciate looking into those options, making sure folks have a really easy and simple option, because we realize how busy things can get. And then take a look. So Funyuns, well, I'm jumping back to our page. Fridays, we've been doing Funyuns Fridays.
Just fun, yeah.
Fun Fridays.
Mm-hmm.
So Fun Fridays, and basically it's Friday today, and we just were really encouraging people to come out, so you can see our post about coming out to the Color Me Mine event, which is again next Wednesday at 6, and it's free. So don't hesitate to come see us there. We also wanted to promote our Pinterest page. As you can see, these gals have been busy creating boards and finding pins for you. So just real quick, let's take about a minute and a half to just talk about what the goal is. What are we doing here with Pinterest? What are we trying to get across to people? What kind of information are you looking for, so they know, okay, they're not just grabbing random articles. What are we grabbing so that people can understand this is why we're doing this?
I really try hard to look for articles that I believe in, that my education has taught me about. I'm trying to dispel myths and really get the facts out there about what good food is and what good exercise is. I had for a while a child development minor, so I learned a lot about parenting and parenting styles and how to really raise good kids. So that's another one I'm really looking at, and I really try hard to make sure that it's doable, it's good advice, and really credible advice. I don't want something on there that is not backed up by science.
Very cool.
So
Shalane, your stuff that you're going for?
Yeah,
Anything in particular?
If you would mind clicking on our boards right over there on the left. So we chose these boards because we want something that would be applicable to you pretty much every day. So say you're not pregnant at this moment, but you're having a hard day, you can click on our humor page and see something that might make you laugh, might brighten your day. We think there's some funny things in there. Or we have the stress reduction board that you can go through and find some articles or just little tips that'll help you out with that specific day. If you're
Well, and if I can interrupt,
totally.
Shalane was talking about self-massage, myofascial release. So if you don't know how to foam roll, get on this board. We have pins where they're talking about different foam rollers, what they do,
Right.
how to foam roll. So again, we realize we're only doing these podcasts every 2 weeks or so. It's a real snapshot, especially when we have time constraints like today. So we're just getting some information out, and we want people to know there's no shortage of this information.
Right.
We're seeking it out really tough. We're finding people who do a great job on Pinterest and trying to pull their information just for us, so that we really do have this one hub of quality information that has all of these attributes that we're looking for as a management team, of being just genuine and authentic and reliable, and we're honing in on that, and then that's what we're pushing at people, is just take a look at what we have here.
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
Wonderful. Well, it's 1:30 on the
Right,
mark,
on
which
the
means
dot.
Shalane has got to go, and we are going to be
Yes.
wrapping up another fun cast. Good podcast with the Moms Over Matter crew. So thanks everybody for listening. I hope you enjoyed our second podcast. I'm hoping the audio is a little bit better. We purchased a Blue Snowball mic, and we're still kind of learning the tech stuff. So look for some changed settings, some more fine tuning in the upcoming podcast. But otherwise, we appreciate having you listen. We hope you have a wonderful weekend, and we really hope that you'll consider coming out to meet us and maybe join our club on Wednesday at Color Me Mine in downtown Ogden. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody.
Bye.
See ya.